personal stories and how that evolved to professional adaptation. Now we'll move to the second tier of collaboration and adaptation, which is partnering with other peers and with their own network. And Olivier is going to share his story on why collaboration is the best way out of pandemic crisis, and how he partnered with other boutique hotels in Colombia to build the travel brand called Secretos de Colombia, a lovely project that he's going to share a bit more with us. So on to you, Olivier. You're muted, you're muted.
Here you are. 1 year of Zoom webinars every week, and I'm still forget to unmute before my presentation. I think it happened to everybody. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Good morning. For whoever who do not know me, I'm Olivier Dufeu. I'm one of the managing partners of Nahbu, a company based in Bogota, Colombia. We have a DMC operating the entire country, and we run and manage 2 properties, Hacienda Bambusa in the Café region and Casayari in Barichara, the amazing village where most of you were 2 years ago. We miss it already. And we are opening now a new private beach villa in the islands in front of Cartagena. So let me share my screen, and I want to tell you about that amazing project, Secreto de Colombia, which has been a very nice experience. And we are still on it. So let me share it. And here it is. I guess you can see my full screen already. So let me go ahead. So the remote asked me to speak about collaboration and how collaboration has been our way out of the pandemic crisis. So let's start back from the beginning of the nightmare, March last year. We all know the problem. From one day to the other one, we had no international travelers, and we knew that we won't have any international travelers for a long time. Well, we didn't knew it would be that long, but we knew it will last quite a lot. And so as our company mentioning, we have the DMC and the properties, we knew that when it will be finished or kind of finished, we will have to start again with domestic travelers and not with international. We know that domestic Colombians traveling within Colombia will be our first clients inside our hotels. And so we needed to focus on that. The main problem is that we have no existing clientele. That our marketing has always been done from outside and to bring foreigners into Colombia. And we never took the time, unfortunately, to be known within Colombia. And we knew that nobody knew us in Colombia at the time. So we had like few months to create a new clientele so we could open again the hotel and to make it just easier with no budget at all. That was a problem for everybody. So we started to think, how do we make the miracle to create from scratch a new clientele with no money? The first solution that I had in mind, collaboration. That was the only way to make that happen, because at the beginning we thought that in 2 months that would be happening. Of course, it took a bit more time, so we had more time to work on it. But we thought that we had like a couple of months to create totally a new clientele. So we say collaboration. What did I do? I called the boutique hotels that would be matching the same kind of philosophies that Hacienda Bambusa, because there are other hotels in the same situation in Colombia, focusing on international travelers, same size, same resources, that will have the same problems that we have. So I say, okay, let's call the owners and let's say, do you want to work on something? I have no idea what we can do, but let's try to do something. Like, if we do it together, maybe we can do something great. I called, why did I went that way? I always believe that promoting a destination is the most important thing. Like, if you do the thing on your own, you will never have enough impact compared to if you do it as a destination. It worked for international travelers. You know, I remember 7 years ago when I was doing the first international tourism shows. I remember I was like kind of the only one representing Colombia, and people were looking at me saying like, "You're a French guy showing luxury trip in Colombia 7 years ago? Like, you're crazy." And after a couple of years, when we started to be more and more other providers going to the shows, like people were saying something is happening in Colombia. So I always knew, and I always realized that if you go with more offer and with more people, you will have more impact than if you do it on your own. So that's why I tried to gather other hotels together with us to work on that project. And it worked. I did 15 phone calls and 12 hotels say yes. And the other one just because they didn't have time for that. And a really nice group of hotels. I won't go through all of them, but basically 12 hotels sharing the same kind of and philosophy of Bambusa. Boutique hotels, high-end service, focusing on used to work with international travelers, understanding or experience tourism works, and all over the country. And together we created Secretos de Colombia. So what was the main idea? What did I mention to them when I called? I said, okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know where that will go, but what is the idea? To do brainstorming. Because if we have 12 brains of hotel owners, we will have much more ideas than if I think on my own. So at least if we are 12 hotels thinking together about what can we do, I'm pretty sure that we can get good ideas, and that's what happened. The other idea was to share expertise, you know, like we all have our strengths and weakness, and I know that not everybody is good in everything, and I don't consider myself as being perfect and knowing everything. So I say, I guess some other hotels, we know things that I don't know, and if we share that expertise, there are a couple of things that I can do well, and other things that other hotels can do. If we share that expertise, we will save a huge amount of time, and we will do much better things. But the main point was to share contacts and clients. My main point was, okay, through the last years, maybe I'm doing just saying crazy numbers, but let's say in the last years, I got 50 Colombian clients in Bambusa. They will not come back in Bambusa. Maybe a couple of them will come back to Bambusa, but not all of them. If the 12 hotels, we all have 50 Colombian clients, and we put all those clients together, we have a database of 600 clients. And if the 600 clients are shown to the 12 hotels, well, we can get them to come to Bambusa, because with my existing clientele, it will be harder to make it grow. But the hotels that have been in Cartagena, that have been in Amazons, which have been in Medellin, they might want to come to my hotels. And I don't know them, but my other colleagues, they know them. So why don't we share those contacts and clients, and we can create a database that will be much bigger than if I try to do it on my own. And we are not competing, because you know, Colombians, people living in Bogota, they will want to go one weekend on the beach, one weekend on the coffee region, and one weekend maybe in the middle of the jungle. So we are not competing each other. So it makes sense. And the last point of the idea was to try to share the knowledge on biosafety and protocols. Remember, in March or April last year, when we started to think as the hoteliers, okay, we will have to open again, but how do we do it? How do we make it happen? Now, wearing a mask and washing your hands is something that unfortunately we are used to it. But by the time, we had no idea about what was going to happen and how we will make it happen. And just me on my remote countryside, I was like, how do I do that? What was the process? So when we got the 12 hotels together, we started to do Zooms and brainstorming together, and we said, okay, we need to work on committees. Because if we do the 12 hotels together, the same thing, well, we are not moving forward. But if we dedicate 2 or 3 hotels per committee on a specific subject based on your expertise, we will move much faster. So we created the first committee, which was about creativity and design. So the hotel will say, okay, I'm good on design and I'm good on ideas. So they worked together and they started to create the name and the design and everything that I will show later. Then a couple of other hotels, they say, okay, I'm better on institutional. So let's have relationship with the Colombian government, have relationship with the National Tourism Board, have relationship with the Association of Travel Agents, associations of hoteliers in Colombia to see what we can do. So those people, they really try to get all the contacts and to promote the project. Then we had a couple of hotels who worked on public relations, and especially speaking about the press. Like if I know one newspaper and the other hotel know one newspaper and the other hotel another newspaper, well, we have a good database of newspapers. So let's contact all those people. And sales and marketing, people who are more experts into the sales process, they will brainstorm together and get ideas about how to make that happen. Social media, some people are great at that. Some people like me are really bad at that. I had to learn through the pandemic how to use the Instagram because I had no Instagram profile before. But some in the group of hotels, they were like maybe younger or more inclined into social media and say, okay, I will take care of it and don't worry, I will make something great. And the last point that I mentioned on the previous slide was the protocol. So some people focused on that. results and actions. So what happened during the month? So we started to work on those committees. That was the most effective ways to get things done. And what was the result? The committees dedicated to protocols studied all the laws in Colombia, studies what was happening outside of the country, what was the recommendation for the World Health Organization, and put together a protocol that will work in our hotels. So what I'm saying, 3 people did the work and we shared it with the 12 different hotels. So me as a Sena Bambusa, for example, as I was not part of that committee, I didn't have to care about reading anything because the work was done. That saved me a lot of time, and that saved a lot of time to the other hotels. So we could work on something else. In 1 month, we had the brand, the name, identity, logo, and everything. In 2 months, we had a website. And think about each individual person. You know how much time it takes to build a website and a brand normally for a company? Like, that was really super fast. We had the social media, we had like 2,000 followers, like in nothing, which is always hard to reach. And what I was mentioning, we got so many articles inside Colombia. I think that was the most important thing that happened, that we were not expecting. For example, that article in the newspaper El Espectador, which is very famous in Bogota, the day that that article came in the newspaper, speaking about the best secrets kept in Colombia and the 12 boutique hotels, we got 3,000 visitors in 1 day in Hacienda Bambusa website. That was definitely very helpful to get domestic travelers. We got so many invitations like the one that we have today. Thank you again, Remote, for asking us. But we got so many invitations to share that project, to webinars. So many people within Colombia will learn about that initiative. And we're working very closely with ProColombia. Some of you might know ProColombia. It's very active and very moving forward tourism board in Colombia. They're really good at what they're doing and with offices all over the world. And so ProColombia knew about us and they contacted us and they said, okay, we are dedicated to international promotion. You are doing domestic. So work on your domestic projects, get ready for international. And as soon as the borders will open again, we will work with you on international promotion of the project. And actually, we are working on that right now. We have like weekly meetings with ProColombia. They are training us how to do a consortia, which is a figure that they have in ProColombia to help companies like us to be more organized. We have a great support from ProColombia, and soon we will be launching in ProColombia offices all over the world the concept of Secreto de Colombia. There are so many travel agents in Colombia used to do sales outside of the country, just as travel being mentioned with Canada. So many travel agents knew the entire world because they're used to send their clients abroad. But when they had the need to create programs within Colombia, they didn't have the content, they didn't use the hotels. And so we shared again the database. So the 12 hotels, we put together, I know this one, and we put all those names on one list. And we sent a huge newsletter saying, okay, you're travel agents, you want to be part of a preferred partner program that we are doing exclusively for the travel agents. And so you will get benefit for your clients, you will get trainings, you will get access to all our pictures, data, all the information and everything. And we created a week of Semana de Capacitación in Spanish. That was a week of training. So a lot of webinars where all the 12 hotels could do a training for those travel agents that wanted to sell more Colombia and that they didn't know us. That worked very well. We had like 90 people subscribe on the preferred program for travel agents. And now the next step, like we are soon to work more with the DMC, so we will extend benefits for the DMCs to promote us abroad. We are working on that. The other database sharing that we did was with direct clients, as I mentioned from the beginning, and we created Secreto de Colombia, the club, which is only for direct clients. So if you've been in any of the 12 hotels, you can sign up to be part of the club of Secreto de Colombia, and you will get monthly newsletter about promotions, special discounts, or this kind of thing, and a lot of inspirational travelers, like ideas of where to go next. Like, you have a free weekend, what about this hotel in Medellin, or what about this hotel in Caño Cristales? So sending information to our clients. And again, that the main goal is that if I have a client in Bambusa and they sign up, well, they might go to the other hotels from the group. And on the other side, I will get clients in Bambusa that have been staying in the other hotels. That works also very well. And the best example of, to show the results will be some figures. I can't say that all the results from Hacienda Bambusa is 100% thanks to Secreto de Colombia, because of course we are doing some other things on our side to promote the hotels. But I'm pretty confident that most of the results are thanks to Secreto de Colombia because of the trends that we got and everything. You can see the occupancy rates of Hacienda Bambusa since the beginning of the crisis. April, May, June, and July and August, we were totally closed with 0 clients. We opened again in September, it was peaking very slow, but then October, November, we reached the 20% occupancy, which was the national average. Like, there were a lot of statistics between the hotels in Colombia, and the national average was 20%, and we realized that really soon we were over the national average, which is very good results. And right now, like for example, March, which is still mostly Colombian clients in the hotel, we start to have some international travelers because the border of opening Colombia, and basically you can travel in Colombia. There are no restrictions, but we know that some clients are still not willing to do so. And so we are still mostly with Colombian travelers. And in March, we hit the 50% occupancy. Honestly, 6 months ago, I had no expectations that would happen. Like, I was really not convinced that we will manage to get so many Colombian clients in Bambusa. So we're really super excited. And the best part of it, the investment per hotel was $50 in 1 year. Basically, we shared the cost of one Facebook ad and the website and so on. We just put $50 each hotel, and we did all that. No, not everything is perfect, of course, and I can't say that it has been a smooth process all the time. We did have some challenges during the year of this happening, of course. The first challenge was to learn how to work together. We were like very different people. We never worked together. We are all hotel owners, so we all have a very strong mind and a very strong way of working and doing the things. So we needed a couple of months of adjustments to how do we work together, and finally we made it happen, so that was nice. Another challenge that we are actually facing right now is growing or not. Do we want to keep it to 12 hotels, or do we want to grow and include more hotels? That would be nice to have more coverage and to have more help, but also we don't want to lose the essence of what we've done together. So that's one of the challenges that we are facing right now. The biggest challenge is to quantify the results. Like, we got so many actions from so many parts, you know, the press and then the social medias, and then what the job that we did on our own for our own hotels and the other hotels also. So we can't really know which clients we got them thanks to Secreto de Colombia and which clients we got to something else. And I'm pretty sure that it's always a mix. Like, you know, they will see the websites and like it, and then they will see us on the newspaper and they will say, oh, I remember that. So it's really hard to put a number on the results of what we did. But the reality is that every time I go to the hotel and I speak with my clients and I ask them, I say, oh, thank you so much for visiting. May I ask how you heard about us? So many times it was like, oh, I read about like the best boutique hotels in Colombia, and I saw some articles and I saw like a website mentioning the best hotels in Colombia, and they will not say specifically Secreto de Colombia, but they will explain the work that we did. So that means that it works. And the biggest challenge is to dedicate the time to make the project keep going. Of course, last year we were all closed and we had nothing else to do than to work on it. So of course we did a lot of meetings and we were so exciting to work together, and we worked a lot on it. And now that we are open and that we have quite some clients, we need to keep dedicated time to the project. And that's one of the challenges that we have right now, but we are managing. And there were some unexpected results because not everything go out as plans, but there were some really nice unexpected results. First one, emotional support during the pandemic. Of course, it has been a nightmare for everybody last year. Everybody in the world, and specifically in the industry, in the tourism industry. And at least to have that space to speak each other during a half day, once a week, with our other colleagues, and to show enthusiasm and to say, okay, yes, it's a nightmare, but let's do something together and let's move forward and let's be prepared for the reopening. It was really nice to not feel alone on that process. And honestly, that was a relief for many of us. Through the year, and also we created friendship. Like, we knew some of the other hotels, but not all of them. And we became friends. We spoke so many times together that now we have a really nice friendship network. And that's always something valuable. And we learned a lot from each other. That's actually one of the results that I was not expecting, but it is so valuable. I think we will all become better after that. To give you an example, like we started to do a vegetable garden in Hacienda Bambusa because we say, okay, let's start. I want to have my own vegetables, but I didn't have any contacts for the good seeds that would be organic and locally flourished. So I chatted on the group. Anybody has a contact for good seeds for my vegetable gardens? Yes, of course, use this one. It's an amazing one. And now so many other hotels say, okay, that's a good idea to do a vegetable garden. And like half of us already, we are doing a garden in the hotels. And so many.
Olivier, you have 1 minute left.
Yes, I'm almost finished. And so many of us, like, we learn from the other one, and we've been implementing new things in our hotels that we were not considering before. So I really believe that the 12 hotels we learn, and we will be better thanks to that. And that's actually one of the unexpected results also, personally for me as a DMC, because Nahbu as a DMC, I can't do anything without your hotels. And if I have good hotels to work with, I can create great trips with my DMC. So that's win-win situation. And one last unexpected result, we realized that sustainability was for us. And we are learning and working more and more on sustainability. And that would be the future of Secreto de Colombia. The first phase was surviving the pandemic. The next step, and that's what's coming with Secretos de Colombia, is putting sustainability in the main priority, and how can we be as a boutique hotels better for the future. If you want to follow us, please feel free to scan that QR code, and that will link you to our Instagram. And if you have any question, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you liked it. If you have any question, here I am.
Merci beaucoup, Olivier. Bravo.
Congratulations. You have a great product, and I'm part of it. Really, congratulations.
Thank you, Brittany.
Congrats, many thanks. Super inspiring as well. So we have a question here, which you already placed yourself, which is about the next steps. Would the project grow? Would you expand after the pandemic, or what's the future plans for it?
Future plans, we are considering to add a couple of more hotels. We don't want to become too big because we want to keep the boutique concept, and we don't have 100 hotels like this in Colombia. We really want to keep the best of each destination within the program. So we are speaking with a couple of other hotels, and soon we should add some more. So that's the first next step. Now, right now, we're working on an association with a local company in Colombia dedicated to private planes and charter helicopters. And we want to create really out-of-the-box private plane safaris around Colombia, linking all the hotels together. We will do like crazy things, like if you go to the Amazon, we will have food from the Amazon in the private plane for you, and you will do a scenic fly over some reasons. Like, that's going to be awesome. So we're working on that first for the domestic travelers, and then we will show it to the international world. And that's actually our main next step, getting international. Like, we worked on domestic travelers so far because we needed the money and we needed the clients, just as anybody. So now that borders are opening and vaccination process is working on, next step is getting international and show that Colombia is an amazing country to everybody. That would be the main things. And sustainability.
Very impressive. Thanks again, Olivier. Thanks for sharing.